Alright guys, Medic Prepper 611 here, and what you're staring at is the first aid kit for my bug out bag that I have put together. And it is packaged in the Condor Rip-Away EMT pouch. And I'm not going to do a review of this bag now. There's no sense in it. But I'm going to go through the contents for you guys and show you what I've put inside of it. You have to bear with me because I'm going to be trying to do all this one-handed. So I've got it divided into little subcompartments with various things in them for easy access. And the way I designed this bag is to be essentially a little bit of everything. In a bug out situation, you really don't know what you're going to need. So you kind of have to add a little more stuff that probably wouldn't traditionally be in a first aid kit. And I've got it broke down into different sections. And we're going to go through each one of these sections one by one, with the first being the trauma section that you guys see here. So we'll go through that here in just a second. Alright guys, what you're staring at here is basically the trauma module of my bug out bag first aid kit. And I've got the gloves positioned here, and they're an individual bag to the left hand side, so they're easy to access. They're right on top. And I also, for quick and easy access in case of an emergency, right here underneath this Velcro strap, have my H&H TK4 tourniquet strapped in there. That's something that if you're going to need it, you need to get to it in a hurry, and I wanted to have easy access to it. Then I also have some additional heavy trauma stuffed here in the back. If I can get this out one-handed. And what this has in it, guys, this is 10 4x4 gauze sponges, one Asherman chest seal, and then in between those two there is one 5x9 abdominal pad for heavy bleeding. I then also have one pair of trauma shears. I have basically what is a small wound kit, and you guys can see the list of what's inside there. I've got a various assortment of band-aids, all the way down to knuckle and finger, butterfly closure, steri strips, and then anything I would need to dress small wounds, as far as cleaning them out with alcohol preps, bacitracin to fight infection, and then there are what you guys have probably heard called the tegaderms, or the transparent dressings in there as well. Actually, you can't see them with the way I've got it packaged. But it's all subdivided inside this little individual kit for easy access and keeping track of what you have in here. I haven't gone through and actually made labels for each individual bag yet in the entire kit. I'm still working on that. But I've been working on this bag for so long, I just wanted to go ahead and start making videos. After that, I've got another small chest seal kit. And these are not chest seals in the traditional sense like the Asherman chest seal. These are improvised chest seals, and there's two of them in here if you can see them. And each little chest seal kit, I've got a 2x2 to help clean up some blood, and then I have the improvised chest seal inside of a little baggie inside it. And basically what it is it's a nitrile glove that you cut and modify to act as a chest seal. And it's a great, inexpensive way for you guys to add chest seals to your kit, and not have to go out and spend the money on buying an actual chest seal. And the entire module has two of the improvised chest seals, two alcohol prep pads, two 2x2 gauze pads, and then one carded duct tape roll in there. And it's about 10 feet wrapped around a small thing. And that would allow you to treat one individual with a sucking chest wound and maybe a penetrating wound to the back. If it was a through-and-through type wound, that way you could ensure that they're not getting air inside their chest cavity. And you could tape 3 sides of each one of those down and have some tape left over. Then finally, in the trauma module, I have 2 3-inch rolls of Kerlex, or just roller gauze. And then I also have 1 3-inch roll of Coban. And what this is it's essentially, if you think of an ace wrap that sticks to itself, it's really awesome to help create things like pressure dressings. And the reason I went with this style is this gives me a little bit more freedom. I could have just put a couple Israeli bandages on here, and they probably would have worked just fine. But once you crack open that Israeli bandage, you can it's a one-time use deal, obviously, and you need those for heavier bleeding type wounds that require pressure dressings. Whereas I can use this gauze for other wounds that may not require pressure dressing, that just require additional dressing to help keep it clean or keep it padded or whatever else. And then if I do need a pressure dressing, I can apply the Coban to that to get some pressure on it and help try to stop the bleeding of that wound. So this gives me a little bit more versatility than just going with a couple Israeli bandages. The next section that we're going to be going over has my instruments in it. It has my medication module, and then it's also the sprain, strain, basically thermoregulation module inside this, and I'll go over that for you guys here. Alright guys, what you're looking at here is the instrument, medication, sprain, strain, and thermoregulation module inside the first aid kit from my bug out bag. And the first thing you guys are staring at here on the left hand side is basically an irrigation kit, and what this contains in it is 2 betadine wipes that you could add to any clean water to use to irrigate a wound. It also has 2 alcohol prep pads to make sure that the tips and stuff of the instruments that you are using are clean. It has 1 10cc syringe with a lure lock on the bottom of it. I have 1 lure lock that is used on IVs. And what it really allows you to do is get some good pressure behind that when you're pushing, and it really kind of spreads out the saline nicely when you're spraying it and helps you irrigate. And then inside this foil here, what I have is an 18 gauge angiocath from an IV needle. It's just a plastic overmold that will go onto the tip of the syringe and allows you to get maybe into deeper wounds and irrigate a little deeper. I've got 2 tongue depressors. These things have multiple uses. They work good as finger splints and things along those lines. They're lightweight, they fit in here, so I figured why the hell not, just threw them in. I've got some just metal bandage shears. They work out great for getting off dressings and stuff. They do have the blunt tips, so I'm not going to have to worry about stabbing anybody or anything else. And this little section right here, I have 4 of the Next Temp disposable thermometers, 1 little tube of super glue, and then in a little baggie inside this kit you can see here I've got, I believe it's 8 of the cotton swab applicators to apply ointments or things to wounds. In the bottom of that there's 4 safety pins and 1 needle. And that is everything that is inside this kit. Like I said guys, I don't have labels made for everything, so I'm doing my best to look at it and make sure I cover everything that's in it. Then behind that, here is the medication module, or the medication kit that I've included in here. You can see right here on the front, I've included aspirin. It'll go ahead and focus. I'll set it down and see if that helps. I've included aspirin, and those are the 325 milligrams times 10. I've got acetaminophen times 16, which are 500 milligrams. 250 milligram ibuprofen times 16. Mucinex for chest congestion times 10. I've got diphenhydramine, which is also known as Benadryl to you guys, times 10. That's great for treating mild allergic reactions. It also can be used as a sleep aid if you're having problems sleeping, which could always be an issue in a bug-out situation. I do have Pepto-Bismol for minor stomach irritation, diarrhea, upset stomach, heartburn, things like that. I carry loperamide, 2 milligrams, 6 of those, to help fight diarrhea. Then Zofran, which is something that me and my wife had left over from when she was fighting some sickness and things like that. So I threw a few of those in there to help fight nausea and vomiting. And then I also threw some caffeine tablets in there, and there's 8 of them, and they're 200 milligrams each, and that's just basically a stay alert aid. If you're in some sort of a situation where you need to leave your house, you have no idea what time of day it's going to happen. You could already be exhausted, and you may need something to give you that little kick that's going to help get you through to wherever you're going. So I thought that was a real valuable addition to throw in that medication kit. Each one is in here. It's individually labeled with the dosage information, what it will be used for, and then dosing instructions, just in case I'm not the one who's going to be giving this medication. If something happened to me and my wife was given something to me, she would be able to look in here and know exactly how much to give, the dose that she's given, and what she would be giving it for. So it's a real great thing, and I really like the way that this turned out in the kit. Up here in this corner, I've just included an entire roll of the 1-inch 3M tape It's the micro pour tape, which is awesome. Then we get into the sprain and strain section of the kit. Right here is one 3-inch ace bandage with the metal closures. Right here in the back I have one triangular bandage, which serves a multitude of functions, guys. I mean, it can be used as a pressure dressing. This can be modified into a tourniquet, and it's also great for its intended use, which is a sling and swath if somebody has a shoulder injury of some sorts. What I did is took it out of its original bag and pushed it down and got the air out of that bag, so it's in a much smaller, compact package than what it originally came in. Then I also, in the back here, have one emergency space blanket. This is just an El Cheapo, guys. And I originally wasn't going to put this in here because it was so bulky. But again, I was able to take it out of its original packaging and really push it down and get it pretty thin so it's not too big and bulky to fit inside this kit. You know, if something's happening and you have somebody who's fighting hypothermia and their core temperature is dropping, the most important thing is to help them retain any heat they still have left in them and to help warm them up. And an emergency space blanket is really a great option for that. So I went ahead and threw one of those in here. And then back here in the back is going to be used in conjunction with the emergency space blanket in an effort if somebody is having a bout with hypothermia. And this is just a couple hot hands. And yes, they could be used to warm your hands if you had frostbite on your fingers or on your toes or whatever else. But the main purpose that I put them in here is somebody who's suffering from a pretty severe case of hypothermia. And what I would do is crack these open and then put these underneath their armpits or in their groin, somewhere next to their core of their body, to help try to warm up that core of their body and generate more heat inside this individual space blanket. So these two would more than likely be used in conjunction with one another. And that is everything that's included in that module of the kit. Next thing we've got over here, this is essentially going to be a skin care module, and these are more of comfort items, things that you may not think of to throw in here, but are just going to be nice to have, and is going to make any situation you're in more bearable. So give me a few minutes to get all this stuff packed back up, and then we will crack into that part of the kit, guys. Alright guys, we're starting at the third and final little compartment here inside the Condor Ripaway EMT pouch. We've already covered the trauma kit and the instrument spray and strain medication kit. So what we have here on top is an individual blister kit. And if you're going to be walking or anything's going to happen, you're wearing, you've got to take care of your feet. And if you have blisters, it can make walking extremely painful and difficult to manage. So everything that's in this kit will help mitigate those type of injuries. And what I've actually found here, and I found these at the dollar store of all places, these are actually blister pads, and little gel pads designed to go over blisters and help mitigate the friction that goes on there. And I've got 5 of those in there. I then have one 4x4 piece of moleskin up here on top. That is the pre-cut version. Then I also have one 2x2 sheet of just regular uncut moleskin. I've got one needle, some thread, and then some work-hardened duct tape. The purpose of the needle and thread, guys, is if you have a really, really large blister, it is extremely painful for you to walk. General rule of thumb is try not to pop blisters because they can get infected. And actually, I believe, I don't have them marked on here, but there are alcohol prep pads in here to clean and dry out some of those blisters as well. But a trick, if you have a really large blister that's making it extremely painful, you are able to pop that as long as you manage it properly and keep it clean and keep it washed. And a good way to do that is what a lot of guys do is they take a needle, they feed some thread through it, they'll run that needle and thread through the blister, they'll pull the needle out and leave the thread through there. And what that does is it keeps that puncture that you just put in there open and allows it to keep draining. And then what the thread does, it will actually pull some of that fluid out of the blister into the thread and away from the wound. So it does 2 things. It keeps it open and it draws moisture outside of that wound and helps it dry out quicker so that it can heal faster. So that's a good little tip. You guys can throw that inside your kit as well. This is more part of the medication module, but it just fits better in here. This is just 4 cough drops. If you get a sore throat or a cough, there's no reason. These things are great to have, and it's just a little bit of a comfort item, like I said. Chapstick, a little tube of that. One of those things, you get chapped lips, you're out in the elements, and your lips start bleeding. It can be really bearable, difficult to eat, difficult to drink, and you really don't want to have that problem. So I threw just 1 tube of that in here. And then this is the bulk of the kit right here. and it's bigger, and I'm going to have to try to work on a way to scale it down because it does have a lot of crap in it. And this is basically a skincare module, and it takes care of a lot of things you would think about with skin ailments. Like right here on the top, you see some SunX SPF 30 pouch, and this is just sunscreen. If you're going to be out in the elements, you can put some of this on your face or any exposed areas to keep you from getting sunburn. I also have an insect module in here, which contains the Bug X insect repellent wipes, and then it also has the Sting X wipes to help mitigate the pain from some of the stings. I also have a burn kit in here, and I'm probably going to end up moving that over more to the trauma side, but I just put it in here for right now. And this is a 4x4 burn-free dressing, and then I also have 5 of the burn gel first aid creams in here as well. There is also 5 packets of hand sanitizer, 5 more packets of bacitracin. There is 5 antiseptic cleansing wipes to help clean out wounds. There are 2 cast-style soap towelettes. There are also 2 lotion packets in here as well. You know, dry skin irritation is just something that's irritating to everybody, and they were real small. They fit in here real nicely, so I threw those in here. And then there are also 4 packets of hydrocortisone 1% cream in here as well. If somebody has skin irritation, it's just a real nice thing to be able to add in here for my kids or for my wife if they have something that's going to need help. I believe that's everything that's inside this kit. Oh, there's also alcohol prep pads in here. I can see those pinging through here. I believe I put 10 alcohol prep pads in there. I'm trying to see what else is shoved here in the back. I believe that's everything, guys. I mean, it really is more of a convenience thing than anything. But like I said, the kit I'm putting together is more of an everyday, practical style bug out bag. We're not going to be bugging out to the wilderness. I don't plan on having to hike 60 miles to get where we're going. So stuff like this that's going to make life easier for my wife or for my kids is weight that's totally worth it for me to have to carry. And it's not like this thing weighs a ton, guys. I mean, this thing is a few ounces at best. It is big and bulky, and I'm going to try to find a way to mitigate that a little bit. But it was just stuff that I felt was really necessary to throw in here, and it's just, you know, stuff that'll make our lives a little bit more bearable in the event that we have to leave our house. This essentially acts as like a little mini medicine cabinet with inside this kit. And I'm going to go ahead and put it all back together real quick and then give you some overall size comparisons of this and talk a little bit about that. So give me just a second to get everything buttoned back up here. Alright guys, I thought I'd just give you kind of an overall size comparison of the bag. Make no mistake about it, it is a fairly large first aid kit. I mean, at its widest point, it's every bit of 4 inches, if not a little larger. And then it is, I believe, 6x6. I'm not 100% sure on those dimensions. But it is a very, very large first aid kit. And I'm able to do that because, going back to my other videos, the bag choice that I made was to go with the tactical style bag. And that's one of the advantages. I can use the MOLLE attachments that are all over this bag at any given point to attach this to the exterior of my bag, which is what I wanted to do. I did not want to have it crammed somewhere down in the middle of my bag where I had to dig for it. I wanted it on the outside. I wanted to have easy access to it. Now, like I said, this is not going to be the bag that serves as my bug out bag in the end. This is just a representation showing the MOLLE attachments and stuff like that. But you guys can get an idea of the size comparison. This is the Condor Compact Assault Pack, and it's very, very similar in size to the, I believe it's the Maxpedition Falcon 2 that puts out a very similar bag, or this is similar to that. But if you step back at it, I mean, that first aid kit's pretty good size, guys. So it's something that I was willing to have be a little bit larger. You know, when you're leaving your home in any given situation and you don't know when you're going to come back, you never know what you're going to run into. So I tried to put, you know, a little bit of the more important stuff in there, and then some stuff that's going to make just life a little bit more comfortable for us in the event that we have to leave. So this just gives you an overview of the overall size. Like I said, I plan to have a little bit larger first aid kit. That's why I went with the bag selection I did, as well as the other things I've already talked about. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you've got any comments, got any questions, leave them down below. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video of the series.